Lucky Duck Games, I just came across a title of theirs, and man, I want to tell you about it. The Dark Quarter. This is for 1 to 4 players, ages 18 and up, and should take you about 120 to 180 minutes to complete. Welcome to New Orleans, Louisiana, circa 1980. A vibrant city of music, food, and magic. Neon lights flicker in dirty puddles up and down Bourbon Street. The innovations of the modern world clash with ancient and terrible traditions, and murder is never simple. The Beaumont Agency, staffed with a roster of brilliant, colorful, and ultimately flawed private investigators, specializes in solving cases that no one else can crack. In The Dark Quarter, a cooperative, app-driven adventure game set in dark, fantastical vision of 1980s New Orleans, players each take control of a Beaumont agent and work alongside one another to solve the worst crimes that New Orleans has to offer. It's a world full of magic, where hexing curses are sold on every street, where voodoo priestesses and creatures of the night are lurking around every corner, and where even the most mundane crimes have a tinge of the supernatural to them. Through multi-scenario campaigns, the game tells of a rich, dynamic story and invites players to make critical decisions that will not only affect their characters, but change the direction and the course of the very story itself. The characters are not simply avatars, easily replaceable from scenario to scenario. Instead, they are woven into the very fabric of the story itself. Their destinies and the destiny of New Orleans are forever linked together. And that is the official write-up from the publisher, from Lucky Duck Games. And between the title, the box cover, and that write-up, I'm hooked. At least on finding out more information. And that's what I did. And I got to tell you, I think I'm still a little hooked. So, a board game that takes place in 1980s New Orleans. Not only that, but a game that takes place in 1980s New Orleans that is full of voodoo, magic, creatures of the night. I mean, my God. This just brings me back to my old Anne Rice days. So yeah, I'm interested. Another thing that I've been liking hearing about this game is more or less the setting for this game gives it a tone, being that it's the 1980s, being that it's New Orleans, Louisiana, giving it this very gritty, dark, if it was a comic book, you would call Iron Age thematic feel, background feel to the entire setting. I love that. I want to see more games that can be described like that. So if that's something that people are saying about this game, the early reviewers, then it's something that really matters to me. Also want to point out that this was a Kickstarter game. It was successful. I didn't know about it on Kickstarter. I just found out about it now. And this video is like months ahead of schedule. I'm filming this right now in the very beginning of November, 2024. So, and I know this ain't dropping until like, I don't know, June, July 25. But at the time of this, I did not know the Kickstarter. But it did. It had a successful Kickstarter. And that means there's going to be expansions. In fact, I think there's one launching with it when it hits the shelves even. So that's nice to see. That's nice to see that there are existing expansions already for a game that you're interested in. You know, it might be that's all they have, but at least they have some. And some is always better than none. So the other thing that really, at the top of my list, caught my attention about this is that MMO feel to it. That uber version feel of an endless quest, choose your own adventure style book. What I mean is the fact that what you do as, you know, the character, the families, the investigators, the investigators that you're running, their decisions are going to affect the board game later down. They are. So be careful of what kind of decisions you make, how you want to play these characters. Because, yeah, that is going to change the entire long story run of what's going on. I love that. I love that. Give us more. Give us more games that are heavily narrated games where you don't feel railroaded, and yet it gives you this feel, this experience, you know, of not being railroaded, but being able to make all these choices at the same time and affecting everything down the road. We want more of that. I do anyway. So usually I'm not the biggest fan of board games that need apps. You know, I have a few. You know, I run a few like Hero Quest for solos, or Return to Dark Tower. But yeah, generally I do tend to stay away from the app games. But this one, that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I really actually like it. I think that has to do with the fact that this is such a heavily narration game, that this is really a storytelling game, in the veins of Anne Rice meets maybe World of Darkness role-playing games from the 80s and 90s, accurately enough. That whole feel is absolutely amazing. And to have that app driven, to be able to enhance the storyline that's going on, as well as giving you, video and audio clips that'll help suck you into the game even more. Yeah. I like the thematic feel of a board game. I like it when it makes me feel. It gives me that almost movie-like sensation where I'm completely sucked into it, and this is the reality I'm dealing with in the moment. And the apps, they can really help with that. So this is a cooperative game. Not everyone likes cooperative games. I do. I don't care either way, actually. I like all kinds of cooperative or semi-cooperative or totally non-cooperative, one versus all, whatever. But this, of course, unless they were going to add in, and this might be in one of the expansions. I don't know anything about the expansions yet. Unless they throw in some rules for, a hidden trait, like you're actually the villain or you're working for the villain, or monster, voodoo woman or whatever. Unless they add something like that, this is a strictly cooperative game. But I didn't notice anything from other write-ups, other reviews, but, in the publisher write-up, the way they mention that all of the investigative characters that you're playing are flawed characters. That really helps, even though this isn't in the description, and I haven't heard any other reviewer say this, that makes me think, although it says 1980s, not 1930s, 40s, this makes me think noir, right? You got dark storylines, dark murders, and you have flawed characters. Yeah, this sounds very noir to me, and God, I love that genre. I think another thing I don't necessarily have read from early reviewers, but putting together myself from all of this information, this game has to have high replayability. How can it not? If your decisions are making changes down the road in the game, then yeah, you're going to want to play this again to see what, like, maybe you have a chance. Just putting it in the most basic left, right, white, black, up, down, opposites that you can. Let's just say you have a chance to play the game the first time. You play it totally cool, totally good. You're a good detective, you're a good investigator, and that's how you play the game. Next time you might want to play it as a not so nice a guy, a piece of poop of a character. You know what I mean? But you'll get the chance to do it. And then maybe you want to play something more neutral down the line somewhere, more realistic, someone that makes good and bad choices. You're going to have that opportunity with all the replayability that I'm picking up reading between the lines on this. But, if you like horror games, especially something period set, like I lived through the 80s. Most of my viewership is in about my age category, I see. So we've all lived through the 80s. So it'll be reminiscent to us. But someone that hasn't, then this is like a time period piece for you. But yeah, go get your own information. Because I think if you've watched this video to the end so far, then yeah, you're probably hooked enough that you should go watch other videos about this. Get some more information. Because I think, like me, you're probably going to fall off the fence onto the, I really want to have this side of that fence. That's where I've fallen now. So, all right, go check out more information on the Dark Quarter.